All right, well, the next map is Ohana. The players are ready. Quick predictions?
I hate you, QX.
All right, over to the casters.
Thanks very much, guys. Game number 4 on the way here in just a second. Socke 2-1 up after a phenomenal game number 3.
Yeah, in the third game, he crushes the army of his opponent, and even with all the money, there was no way to remax for Cass in time. He has a big problem there. And as soon as Socke was on top of his production, the game was over. Cass realizes GG's, moves out, and we are suddenly back in game number 4 with a 2-1 lead for the Protoss player. But starting to the top left, we have our Terran. He's starting in blue, and it is Empire Cass.
Spawning down the bottom left, right-hand corner here, as our red Protoss. He is 1 game away from advancing on to the round of 4. Give it up for IEM Socke!
Socke in the lead here with a 2-1. 1 game. That's all that he needs to advance to the next round of the tournament. But Cass has shown us in game number 2 that he is strong enough to take down his German opponent. Barracks first once again for Cass on this 2-player map. And let's see if Cass is able to show us a 5th game today. Will he tie the score again? Socke once more in the lead, sending out the drone squad. He wants the probe squad. He wants to see what's going on here.
Yeah, he does. The crowd here, a little bit behind Cass. They want to see a game number 5.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
I want to see a 5th game. The last game, to be completely honest with you, for a long time I thought that Cass is going to crush him here. He had a big army. Socke was really struggling to get his bases up, and Cass always pressured the 4th base, making sure that he had the better income and also really good upgrades. But then the fight happened, and it really looked to me that Cass didn't pay attention to the fight at this point, that he just had his army sitting there, was moving back to macro it up, to just build maybe additional production facilities, maybe put down another command center, and then suddenly, bam, there comes the army of Socke. He goes in, he storms the Archons, the charge loads, everything is there. Cass trying to jump back to his army, trying to micro, trying to get into the position that he needs in such a fight, but it was already too late. He was dropping in supply so fast.
Yes, he was.
There is nothing you can do anymore at this point.
And to add complete validity to that, it really did just feel as if he wasn't paying attention. Like, there was so much potential there for those ghosts to do much more than they did. Obviously, they didn't have the upgrades, yes, but they didn't throw down. They threw down very few EMPs, and that's just not what you normally see.
I don't think a single one.
Yeah.
But well, this match ended with the last fight. There was so much is definitely true. And right now, we have game number 4, and this is like the important thing now. Cass has to just think about the last game. Okay, well, just forget about it. Go into game number 2. Take it 1 game at a time. And look at this position again. This SCV in a perfect spot here with this bunker. Just pocketed away. Already the first kill on the Marine, taking down one of those probes, and Cass is paying attention to this. Socke is pushed back, but he did not skip on the Zealot.
Oh, the SCV trying to get out of the way, and it does go down there. One of the benefits of trying to build a bunker there is if your SCV is at that very back corner, it's actually impossible for melee units to reach that, the top left back corner. So Cass was trying to anticipate that, but unfortunately for him, no cigar.
Yep. Socke just starting here with the Zealot, not trying to skip it and playing like really greedy. He went for the Zealot, and that helped him a lot defending against it. He still lost a few harvesters. He lost 2 of his probes, which is not too bad here, but he could have been better. The pylon now, sorry, not the pylon, but of course the bunker here at the front on the ramp for Cass, as you would expect. And the Zealots just trying to still claim the Zalnaga Watchtower, but the Marines are getting a bit cheekier. What Cass wants to do here is, of course, having a quick look. If there are units at the Zalnaga Watchtower, claim it, having the vision. But he sees now that not only the Stalker, but also the Zealot are moving towards him with the bunker. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, Zealot just trying to poke up here, get a little bit of vision. Don't think he actually spotted that expansion during all of that.
No, he actually did not. He saw it earlier. He saw that there was an expansion building, but he does not know 100% that it's completed.
Yeah, just a little bit of brain upstairs. For now, we have the probes in production here for Socke, and meanwhile, the factory going down for Cass, and just ramping up their production.
Cass with a very early classic Shelly as well. Well, directly. So if Socke at some point pokes with the Stalk again, then the single Marauder that he's building at this point, is actually building the second, will be able to just hunt him down.
Yeah, it will be able to. It's really, really annoying to actually deal with that kind of play from a Terran this early on, and I think we're probably just going to see Socke just swing into the Robo Bay very, very quickly again here. It seems to be his flavor of PvT right now, which is actually doing himself pretty darn well.
And Cass, talking about him for a second, he starts now with his stim. He has concussive shells, so it's a little bit difficult for Socke to engage with stalkers here. They would not be able to escape. The second Zanaga watchtower taken by Cass, and Socke in a position where he wants to defend his ramp, of course. He doesn't know exactly what's going on here. He needs to get his own observer out, but heading into the robotics bay once more. Whereas Cass decided to not go for any kind of these strategies that we've seen by Yoda already, where he tries to go for this one base push. He drops the missile turret to make sure that even if there is some kind of DT play, he's not going to die to it. A very safe build that he has to choose because he still refuses to scan his opponent's base.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised here, once again, though, if we saw Socke do something very, very similar to how he played against Yoda in the form of just going for those 3 Colossus pretty quickly with the gateways. It's a strategy that on this map can work so well because of how small the map is. He's going for that Forge once again, so, you know, he can easily crank out 1 or 2 upgrades in the form of either the weapons or the armor if he wants to really complement those gateway forces. And for now, it's just sitting pretty. He's just sitting tight. He just wants to hold his ramp and keep everything going.
With the Colossus, he's again safe against the Marines, and that comes the Twilight Council for him once again. We have a pretty significant lead in Harvesters now for Socke, but one thing, there we go, goes for the Droves again. Third base already being built for Cass. This is where Socke is heading to. Both of them just aiming for the late game right now. Cass even building 3 additional barracks so that he has a lot of production, can make sure that those minerals go into Marines and Marauders right away. And he's moving out now. There's once again, of course, this one observer.
Yeah, he could pick that off quite easily if he ends up seeing the blur. It's a little bit hard sometimes to see on this map because of the way in which the texture works.
Well, it didn't move, so you can't actually spot it, but that's the situation where you want to be in. I mean, the Terran is a Protoss player that really wants to know what's going on, will always position one of those observers at the ramp so that he has the vision when the Terran moves out. And Socke is trying to defend with 1 Colossus, while at the bottom right he's building his Templar Archive. Here we go again. Comes the force field, trapping a fair amount of units here. Very well done by Socke.
A nice little horseshoe catching some, and from that he can easily establish his 3rd base here. That factory's going to be a little bit annoying though, spotting things going on.
Talking about 3rd bases, to the top right, 1 Zealot is currently trying to take down this SCV. Nice, well done by Cass. Has the medevac over, saves the SCV. So the harass by Socke didn't do as much damage as he was hoping for. Cass with an attempt to the bottom left to block the 3rd base spot, but Socke has already started his Nexus.
Now, almost every single time Socke's taking those precautionary measures, putting pylons down in other locations to just send in 1 or 2 Zealots when his opponent's taking a 3rd, trying to harass that location. It's a really nice little tactical thing. Oh, actually, he could seal this off, and he doesn't have that much anti-air. He can't kill it, I don't think, in time.
Nah, he can't kill it, but he forced the lift, and he can actually also move in again if he wants to. He's going into Storm now, and Charge is nearly done. Cass has to be quite careful here. Upgrade-wise, he is not really that far ahead, but we have him now with a plus. With the Ghost Academy a lot earlier than the last game. But Socke here, he just moves back. He knows that he has his own expansion up in time, that with his economy he will be able to not only go for the High Templars and the Storm, he can just go into the double Forge, double upgrades, can add also the extended thermal lance for the Colossus and just continue his Colossus production.
And this is a good read by Cass, in a similar vein to what we saw in game number 3 here. He says, oh, you're revealing your Colossus that early? Really? Well then, you know, I'm going to go for that Ghost Academy a little bit quicker because he knows exactly what's up on the other side of the map for Socke.
Socke still has those pylons to the top right. He could warp in Zealots and attack, and Cass is just moving in here. But Socke, he doesn't have Storm just yet, but it's only 2 seconds away from finishing. So with all the energy already accumulated on those High Templars, moving to a choke point, a little bit risky, and Cass decides to move back. He's not quite sure if Storm is there just yet.
Yeah, as you rightly pointed out, the 3 Zealots warping in here, going for that harassment once again. Cass has to be so pestered by this kind of play here.
There come the Zealots, okay.
Yeah, they were on the way.
Not the smartest Zealots here, as you can see. Running past the SCVs and then in a single file line, not able to do a lot of damage. But currently, as said, +2 attack, second robotics facility. We have also the second forge, but here comes Socke, and he's moving in. Those zealots are a bit endangered, but he was forcing a stim. And let's be honest about it, there's a lot of storm in the position for Socke.
Yeah, there really is. They've been accruing so much energy over a long period of time. I would love to see him wait for that +2 armor before he goes for this, otherwise it will be slightly oddly timed, but he's just going to go for it anyway. Those ghosts are in position to actually deal with this as well, doing a lot of damage to those zealots, and they will take away a bit of that meat shield.
Defensive storm here, trying to lure Cass into a trap. The armor upgrade isn't done just yet. He's using a lot of energy. Do we have an EMP? Yes, we do. But he is missing most of the sentries and High Templars. Now finally, +2 armor is completed. Double Colossus production currently for Socke. +3 armor, +1 attack. He's really going for the upgrades here.
This is so clever by Socke, just going into that double Colossus production from this point on. He still has 3 ghosts coming out at any given point in time. A lot of his opponent's gas is committed to that kind of production. The one scouting factory for Cass should be more active, and it is going to be more active. Actually trying to spot that second robo is so important at this point.
Yes, he needs Vikings. He starts the first one, he has 4, but he needs a lot more. Socke at 76 army supply against 94 with those upgrades as he's using his chrono boosts for the forges. He's very low on energy on all of those Nexi, and now Cass is the one who starts to be a little bit aggressive. Is he moving into the choke point? It looks like he is. Where are the storms? Where are those colossi? Is he getting into the position that he wants? Nice, moving back with the High Templar, very positional here. These ghosts are so dangerous to Socke.
They are. Meanwhile, back at home for Cass, he's got the 5 Vikings. He's adding on 2 more to have a total of 7, but still the double Colossus production persists, and he has to do this. He has to throw down that second Starport, otherwise he finds himself in a position where his opponent goes up to a ridiculous amount, and actually he's going to push it.
Yes, he's pushing in again, and here come a few of those EMPs. The Storms trying to take down those Vikings. Cass is moving in, Socke losing a lot of supply. Those Colossi having a hard time staying alive, and Socke has to move back here. So far, the more cost-efficient engagements for Cass. +2 is only halfway done for him. Upgrade advantage in this last battle for Socke.
It was a minute detail at the very end of that battle, but just the 2 force fields that Socke threw down to the left of that choke point was where a lot of Cass's forces were concentrated, and just positioning those 2 force fields there deters any kind of push forwards going on. So Socke there retreating in a very efficient manner.
The 4th base for Cass is not going to be too... Well, actually, can he place it down? Yes, he can, but it's immediately going to be attacked, and he has to lift it again. Or does he? Nope, the army is in position. Can move in. 4th base for Socke. That's what he's going at now. +2 attack has been started, going into Blink. More and more... how many does he actually have? How many Colossi? We have 5. He's going for another one, going for 6. And let's have a look at the Viking count. 11 Vikings for Cass. He's nearly maxed out at this point.
And +1 finishing up for them in just a little bit as well, which is going to help him considerably if this engagement is delayed for just a bit. But there's a lot of area where Vikings can exploit the architecture on this map. There's a lot of nooks and crevices which are very, very easy for those Vikings to survive across.
He's gonna save the planetary, or is he? Here comes the army of Socke. The EMPs are decent. He has to move back, but the Terror player is stimming again, trying to chase him down. Doesn't want to go into the choke point. If there are High Templars, the storms will be too much. And in the last second now, Cass dropping a mule and saving his expansion.
There just weren't enough zealots with that push, I feel. He just didn't have the meat shield there and active to actually tank the brunt of that force whilst doing the damage from behind. Socke attacking a little bit prematurely, I would say. As for now, I mean, Cass has a really nice macro lead.
Yes, Cass is now once again working up this bank. He's already at 1,000 minerals, and he is maxed out in his army supply, but Socke is at 165. The cloak for the ghosts is there. He's going into +3 attack. Socke needs to start the next attack upgrade. Could also start with his shields, but of course against EMP it's always a question if you really want to invest those resources. He has 4 bases, so he really has a lot of economy. He added gates earlier, and here comes maybe another battle. Storms against EMPs. The story of the game once again.
Yeah, well, Socke here, meanwhile, going to take that Warp Prism, warping in a lot more Zealots. He knows he needs to re-bolster that force as quickly as he can do. And, you know, with that Warp Prism, can go for that aggressive stance. It looks like he wants to push in a little bit again. There's 17 ghosts out right now for Cass. That is monumental numbers that are going to rip apart this force if he strays too far.
5 additional barracks now for Cass, 3 command centers. First of all, he wants to have the army production. Here comes the next fight though, hold that thought, he's going in. We have Vikings against Colossi once again. Actually the Zealots running into the storm here. Socke and Cass both dropping in supply heavily. Socke actually with a decent engagement up to the point where he loses meat shield and Socke has to retreat, drops those 2 passive storms, the defensive storms, trying to make sure that Cass can't follow him. But Cass now is on his way to not only get the production that he needs later on, but also to get additional command center, which will enable him to sacrifice a few SCVs if he wants to. Right now, he's at 84, and this means that a lot of the supply is in workers. Socke has 76 army supply against 98, and we have him now with the better back at this point.
Yeah, 84 SCVs is absolutely insane here from Cass, getting so much in terms of that income gain here, while Socke still, you know, he does have a good income and he's going for those Zealot drops here, trying to keep his opponent pinned back. If he can sit on the production facilities with some Zealots, maybe get add-ons, that would also be nice.
Top left, a drop walking into, well, not walking, but moving into the map. Here comes the War Prism. And he can, well, the problem is he can't build any units or send anything over here. He has to get out of position with his entire army. He doesn't have anything up to that to defend. And if this dies, yes, he's losing the engineering bay. He's losing the +3 armor upgrade, and he is also going to lose his armory. The War Prism is gone, but these 2 structures were important, and Socke just picked them off. He will have a significant upgrade lead in the game and in the next fight.
Meanwhile, he's actually pulled his opponent's force way out of position to try and clean that up. He blinks forwards here. He was trying to focus down the Blanchard Fortress, but so much repairable going down on this as well. He's still trying to focus it down with all of those SCVs repairing. It does go down there. Socke actually trying to equalize the odds with some nice harassment tactics.
Cass had to move back to the top left to kill those Zealots, and he moved back with most of his army. This was the opening that Socke needed. The one chance that he was looking for, going to the right, bam, taking down the expansion. And now Cass is still on 4 bases with the command center that he has to the left, but Socke is on 200 supply. He's on 4 bases, a good economy, the better upgrades in a few seconds, going even into a Dark Shrine now so that he can send individual DTs over to his opponent's bases and have them in his army to force out these scans and make sure that the Terran player can't drop as many mules as he would like to.
Yeah, and now Cass is forced to actually reproduce his factory. He can't make any more starports because, you know, that factory is not present here, and he needs those extra starports just so he can ramp up that Viking production in case his opponent swings into Mega Colossus production, and he already has 3. He's getting out another 2. Empire Cass here, though, looking to push in on the 4th base, and this could be catastrophic for Socke.
Here comes 1 storm. Cass not moving in, the 2nd storm, pushing him back. An EMP attempt, and nice killing of the High Templar was trying to get into position. And here comes Cass with a stim, forcing Socke back into the choke point. Those Vikings in pursuit, all the Colossi gone. The 4th base is in shatters. This is it for Socke's 4th, and suddenly he's down to 3 bases, trying to build another nexus to the right side, but Socke is down in supply with 70. This is a massive lead for Cass.
EMPs absolutely ravage that small force that we saw there from Socke, but he does fall back. He can recuperate those losses there for just a little bit of time. As Zealot harassment still going on around the map here for Socke. He always seems to have 1 Zealot at least present on the map, hitting away at something, but now Socke still has to buy a lot of time. He needs to replant his Nexi, and from that point on, buy time with these Dark Templar.
Cass so far had the much more cost-efficient engagements in this game. The last few battles all ended in his favor. Now Socke with a very heavily Archon supplied army. Also the DTs in the composition is moving out, trying to meet his opponent. There are 2 Colossi. 2 Colossi against 21 Vikings. And those Vikings can't help him later on. The Zealots charging in. Here come the Archons. Can he turn it around? The storms are decent. Socke is still behind supply. Another round of Zealots is charging in. But is it enough? It doesn't really look like he's able to pull through.
And Empire Cass isn't actually making any use now. It only just starts them there as the battle was ensuing. He does land the Vikings to try and clean up the rest of the force. Empire Cass taking 100 supply lead at this point onwards. Didn't even need the supply actually to be pumped it back into those units at that very beginning, because he has a massive, massive lead over Socke.
Right now it's 3 bases against 5, and of those 3 that Socke has, only 2 are mining, I would say. There are a few mineral patches at the natural, but those will be depleted very, very soon. So right now, Cass in the best position ever. 180 supply against 64, going for +3 attack, +3 armor and +2 attack for the Vikings. But the army composition alone, 108 army supply against 28, and just look at these units on the unit counting station here. This is just way too much for Socke to deal with. This is an all-catch unit composition.
Yeah, Dark Templar just trying to swipe away at this force here, but they're not really going to get too much done at this point. You'd have to kill off so much of this army before that scan goes down, but it does. Kills DT off. More DTs are on the way to try and buy time, but Empire Cass just has so many command centers that you can just keep scanning and scanning and scanning.
Cass is making sure that Socke doesn't get another base. That's all there's to it right now. Prevent another base from going on and starving his opponent. And now he's moving in. He has the units that he needs, and he is going for the kill. GG. Cass brings us into game number 5.
And we saw that constructive style from Cass emerge against Lucifron as well. He never really wants to go for the full-blown straight-on engagement. He's happy to starve his opponent now, and it's a really frustrating style to play against.
At this point, we have game number 5. This is what we were hoping for. Socke on Ohana not able to claim victory. So the last game is going to decide who's moving on to the semi-final tomorrow. A strong game, a really good performance here by Cass. And for Socke now, of course, the question, what is he going to do on the last map? What kind of strategy can he pull off? Will we see gateway aggression? Will we see a late game again?
Yeah, it's certainly answers that we need to fulfill eventually in game number 5. But for now, I believe we'll be sending it over to the analysis desk with Jarrett, QXE, and Todd to look at game number 4.
We began the day with an epic series that went the full 5 games, and we're ending the day with an epic series that's going the full 5 games. It was a great game. I enjoyed it. We had a lot of heated opinions during that game as it went, but
we were
now that
actually
the camera's live,
yelling
I'm
at
so
each other.
eager. There was a lot of yelling.
There was a lot of heated
now,
opinions, but
and
only
I'm
one
eager-
final conclusion.
I'm eager to hear what you guys have to say about this
Socke
game.
got turned. What do you think, QXE? What happened?
No, it's not. See, that doesn't work in this game because Cass was actually winning the entire time, and then he ended up winning.
It was like super even the entire game.
What are you talking about?
Until Cass reached like 15 ghosts.
You mean when he had like 50 more supply and 2 more bases and better attack and all of that?
They're pretty much on equal supply for the most part.
Are you not even watching the replay and fast forwarding through?
Okay, he has like what? Okay, let's jump into the replay. Let's look at the supplies, guys.
We're just gonna watch the supplies.
Yeah, but no. Hey, you went too
got
far.
heated, man.
Okay, let me come back. Let me come back. You say that. You guys were like going back and forth. I should have filmed this.
There should be a whole side show called Off the Camera, but not off the record. We'll publish it after it's all over. Maybe that show exists. And when it's all over, guys, your mics were on. We've got all the footage, the camera's on, because there's no red light. I can't tell. And man,
Okay, basically
Fisticuffs just about, huh?
Socke opened with 1 Colossi into Storm, and it was looking okay for him. But Cass, he identified this very early on, and he threw down actually the Ghost Academy before adding on the second eBay and the Armory. So he had enough ghosts to not die, basically.
Yep.
And from there, it went into a very long game where both of them, they tried to get their death ball, and they had some very equal fights. But eventually, Cass, he got just a too big amount of ghosts, and he just completely steamrolled Socke. Okay,
Do you want to just jump out of the replay and fast forward to the big battle at the end?
Okay.
I'm not sure what else.
We can watch this battle like over here.
Oh yeah, that battle is pretty important. Sorry.
Yeah, and like Cass,
sorry guys.
he just tried to spread his army out as much as possible here. And was it at the time where you said Cass is about to get Protoss? I think that was it. Right?
Yeah, it may have been. And then immediately after I saw the result of this battle, I changed my mind. Usually, that happens when you get trapped in a corner. Notice the way Cass was able to spread his army out. That's so important in this matchup. You mitigate some of the splash damage from Storm, reduce the damage from the Colossus splash, and that's really what Terran needs to do to be able to survive the late game. What we saw in Cloud Kingdom was he got kind of pinned against a corner where he wasn't able to spread out, and then he was not able to also kite back away from the army.
And you know, we read the chat here sometimes, and I saw a bunch of people saying that the Protoss is the A-move race.
Which is true.
Which is... Okay, let me. let's look at the groupings. Actually, it's very interesting. Protoss almost always needs 2 groups. You can't have your Templars with your main army. So having 2 groups is very standard for Protoss.
I agree with that.
I have to say, for Terran, usually you need your Vikings and your Ghost group separately. But Cass, he just puts everything on one and then puts his Ghost on
really surprised by that. I always find it very difficult to control if I don't put my Ghost on a separate hotkey from the bio. But Cass doing a really good job. This is actually a very important part of the game where he's able to maintain his 4th.
Yes. If this had died, this would have been pretty good for Socke here.
Yeah, definitely, because he would have been in a position where Socke is mining from his 4th and Cass is not.
Cass actually forgot Möbius Reactor here. He got Cloak first.
Yep.
And considering how many Ghosts he was getting, this is definitely a huge mistake here. He might have been able to end it a lot earlier. But anyway, we're not going to talk about this game forever here. Cass playing very well.
Yep.
I give Terran players credit where credit is deserved.
Cass doing a really good job of carrying a macro advantage into a huge supply lead into the mid and late game, and that's really what we saw. That's kind of how Cloud Kingdom went, except in the final battle, Cass ended up taking it instead of getting crushed. But very similar early game, mid game, kind of early late game, where he's taking a 3rd before Socke, taking his 4th before Socke, adding orbitals, getting a huge amount of production, and getting up to an army that is just very strong. He's able to move out on the map and maintaining a 30-4 supply lead for a large part of the game.
Yeah, we have one more game to decide who goes on to meet first in the semifinal.
Metropolis, right?
Yeah.
It is Metropolis. That's the map. Thoughts, predictions?
This is a macro map, and Cass is a destroyer of worlds, so I'm going to go with Cass.
I'm calling for Cass here.
All right. I'm going to pick Kaz too. Oh my god, we agree on
Oh
something.
no, he's going to lose then.
Just jinx it.
You're always wrong.
Sorry, guys. Sorry to the Ukraine as well. The gamers are ready. I think the casters are ready. We're going to go over there and we're going to watch the last game of the day. Have fun.
Game number 5 here at the caster's desk with myself, Kyle Laris, and the charming Kaldor.
Aren't you the Prince Charming?
Oh, God. You know, actually, I've been called that ever since I just did this hairstyle when I was like 15 or 16, so...
You're surprised by that?
No, not really.
Thank God.
It'll do.
I was already worried here.
Have you and Cass ever thought about teaming up for the Hitman squad?
You know, I have my private wolf, and that's usually enough to intimidate opponents. So if I ever find myself in a situation where I really need another sidekick, I will definitely consider Cass. I think he's a really good addition to the team.
Your wolf grooms himself well.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, does all right for himself. Speaking of someone well-groomed here with his long hair, we have Socke going up against Cass. Cass looking a little nervous, biting his fingers.
Well,
I do that as well.
It is the last game. This is game number 5, so the tournament life of both players is really on the line here. The crowd is cheering for both of them, and we just could hear, and Cass and Socke were just talking in the lobby. They are as amazed about the crowd in Poland as we are. IEM Katowice has been amazing, and I can't wait for the games tomorrow. From day to day, it just has gone better and better and better.
Yeah, and oh, actually, before I forget, and I didn't wear it today at some point, but I really want to give a big shout out to the Polish Facebook StarCraft 2 community who actually gave me a personalized shirt. So big thank you to you guys. The Polish fans are absolutely fantastic. It's been a pleasure to cast for you guys.
It's been really amazing. Being here in Poland is such a treat, and this event is so awesome.
For now, getting on to game number 5 here with Cass. Now looking determined and good to go.